Hello, you beautiful nerds of the world. Torach at your service. If I hear a single comment, another comment that says lore versus feet, I swear to God I'm deleting it straight up. Unless you have anything to add to the conversation, I am done with this shit.
I will now troll you by writing lore versus feet.
A calm and reasonable person.
Sorry. Excuse me for the... That might come off weird if you're not into, like, versus debating, battleboarding, community talk, whatnot. But let's just say the waiting period for this episode was atrocious. Not because debates were heated or anything like that. It's just that people had like 3 words and kept repeating them like a broken record for an entire month. Lore, feats, and reading. I know it summarized this fucking matchup, but repeat that over and over again for an entire month and it starts to add up. Like, yeah, I contributed a little bit, but like, I was doing it for fun. I didn't know people would take this seriously. It really dulled my excitement for this episode, which is a fucking feat in itself, because like, how do you make Kratos versus Asura lame? How do you suck the hype out of a death battle with God of War and fucking Asura's Wrath? How? Anyway, let's talk about Kratos and Asura, because I'm still very excited for it. I played the original God of War on PS2 when I was very young, and I remember playing God of War 3 on the PS3. And I remember loving this franchise so much that when I was a little older, like back in high school, I remember buying like the entire collection, which is like God of War 1, 2 for the PS3, as well as Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta, you know, the spin-offs. And I remember playing like an entire marathon of the series when I was in high school, which is like 1, then I think it's Chains of Olympus, then 2, then Ghost of Sparta, then 3, then Ascension, so on and so forth. So I played pretty much every God of War except for the God of War 2018 and the Ragnarok one. So basically I didn't play like the modern Norse era of God of War, even though I did watch, I watched Let's Plays of them. Safe to say that I am still a long-term fan of this series. I love Kratos. I think he's, for the longest time, he's been kind of this power fantasy guy. I mean, I'm not gonna... Yeah, he's a badass character. I don't know why the term escaped my mind. I forgot about the term badass. The term badass just flew off my brain, and it just, I don't know, it went to a separate country, it took a vacation, now it's back in my mind. It's good. As for Asura's Wrath, I didn't play it, but I did watch Let's Plays of it roughly 10 years ago, and I even rewatched an entire long play for the sake of this episode, and man, it never gets old. It's one of those games that are closer to... It's a one-time treasure more than just a video game series. It's one of the reasons why there's no Mona Lisa 2, you know? I'm content with it being one game, honestly. You can just re-release it, you can make big ports. Just do a Skyrim, just sell it over and over again, and I'm happy. I'm not gonna say it's a game that everyone needs to play, but it's a game that everyone needs to know at some point in their life. So these are 2 characters I've had mad respect for them for a good chunk of my life. But strangely, the matchup itself only grew on me like a couple years ago when it was presented on the Champions Ballot, to the point that it even had my final votes, you know, for the Tournament of Champions. A vote that I technically lost. Don't worry, it's gonna be hand-drawn by Jumpin' Jets. It's gonna be like, when it comes out, but, you know, fate has some, sixth sense of humor sometimes. I did say it grew on me because there was a time I didn't particularly like this matchup, because I was under the impression that it was just another matchup under just another pairing from the what I like to call the anger-themed roulette. Hulk, Asura, Broly, Kratos, Doomsday, Angron, those kind of characters that are Atrocitus, those kind of very angry and very powerful characters that are kind of being put together on random. Like you can just pick two out of this entire selection, and it's been a matchup. It's been compared by people a fair amount of time, which it's not necessarily a bad thing, because anger and wrath and all that stuff, they are perfect for this kind of crossover that is all about like fighting to the death and violence and whatever. But when you're a big fan of crossover fights like me, it kind of gets old. But I think it really clicked for me when I started to compare Asura and Kratos for the dad aspects of this fight, rather than the rage thing. Especially the Kratos of the Norse era. I don't like to call it that because we're technically the same person, but how he is portrayed in the recent God of Wars 2018 in Ragnarok. To be blunt, I think if it was just the Greek Kratos that we had back then versus Asura, I would not have liked this matchup. Kratos was a very different person than he is today. I think it's all about the hows and why they are angry. Every good angry character has a reason and a motivation for being fuck-ass mad. And what I think didn't sit right for me was the fact that Kratos in the Greek era was kind of a guy who lost everything. Like, he lost everything already, so he's just taking his aggression on whoever messes with him or like pushes his wrong button a little bit. But now, I think the modern interpretation of Kratos really elevates this fight for me, because now they are both godly dads who are angry because they care. The Greek Kratos was angry because of his past. Norse Kratos uses his rage for the sake of the future, the future of his kid. And I think that aligns better with Asura, with Asura's wrath as a whole. So now they are both gods of genuinely righteous anger, and I hope that Death Battle emphasize on that part when portraying those characters. I mean, I'm still for the rage, though. Come on, it's God of War and Asura's Wrath. I want QTEs, I want moments, I want to flip mountains. Of course, it's gonna happen. But, it's my take on it. Now, for who I think is going to win, I'm honestly rooting for both, to be entirely honest, but I hate to say it, I'm kind of leaning toward Kratos. As far as I remember seeing and what I remember reading and all that stuff, Kratos managed to defeat Thanatos, who was one of the primordials who could create the Greek universe by just beating each other up. So, as a byproduct of their battles. So, at worst, he should be equal to Asura as far as raw powers go. Combine that with better equipments, like a shit ton of weapons and equipments, and magic and all that stuff, and especially a better resume. And I'm sure Kratos. I'm sure Kratos has pretty much everything he needs to take on Asura. But at worst, and this is the whole reason why this waiting period was boring as fuck, is that I know there are people with versus Battle Wiki brain rots who will say that Kratos scales to scales to foes that are so infinitely above anything that Asura's Wrath, anything in Asura's Wrath, and it should be a curb stomp. And honestly, I believe him, but the problem with that is that everyone keeps talking about the famous lore scaling this, lore scaling that, but then everyone forgot to actually talk about that lore, and so I can't really comment on that. Something to do with the Norse games and Yggdrasil and the multiple realms, so potentially multiversal bullshit. I don't know. I I'm curious to learn about that, what it's all about, and how it ties to Kratos. And like, I'm willing to believe it. It's just, talk about it. Anyway, I think I've talked too much as usual, so I'm going to shut up and enjoy this fight in a calm and reasonable manner. It's time! Fight!
Kratos versus Asura.
The Ghost of Sparta versus the Wrathful Destructor. Cause sometimes you just want to punch a god in the face. He's with my boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. See, that's a good intro. Again,
in the beginning,
I like that
the primordials
I like that you bring back those intros. All official materials. I didn't have time to
cosmic clashes that
Despite
birthed
my
the
fault.
universe.
Boom! Now that's what I call a big bang.
From Ceto's death, the oceans would flow. From Uranus's strikes, the stars were spawned, and so forth. Thus, the world itself was born from violence.
Starting the whole messy cycle, Uranus was overthrown by his Titan son, Kronos, who was overthrown by his Olympian son, Zeus, who battled his own son, Kratos.
As a classic
family drama.
Zeus, Kratos was
It's
left
like
among
selfish gods
mortals,
fighting puzzles.
far exceeding
Sack
all
boy
among him.
doesn't want to
He
talk
became
about
a
it.
fierce warrior, winning many
Likes
battles
Atreus
until
olives,
finally cornered by
Mimir.
ruthless barbarians.
Ares, destroy these guys who are kicking my ass, and my life is yours. A deal was made, and Kratos was joined at the bone with the Blades of Chaos, a set of chain swords, and basically a badass whirlwind of flame and steel.
But Ares had a scheme. While doing work for his god, Kratos accidentally murdered his own family, permanently
Whoopsie.
marked by the ashes of his wife and daughter.
Prankin' John,
He was,
you already know.
forevermore, the Ghost of Sparta.
So he was
Prank him, Ares.
understandably really pissed
Prank
off.
him, Ares,
Time
you already
for a
know.
new god of war.
Hey, yo, yo,
The
yo,
gods
yo!
were crapping their togas in fear as the new god of war took out his rage on all of them. And got some new gear out of it too.
With Poseidon's trident and Icarus's wings,
Yeah,
Kratos
steal all the fucking
dominated both
weapons.
sea and sky. He also has a tendency to carry powerful severed heads, like Medusa's.
And the claws of Hades could steal souls, even the soul of Hades himself. Should have thought that one through, man.
Neither Perseus or Hercules were a match for Kratos, nor was Helios, the sun god capable of moving stars and spreading light across the entire underworld.
He fought Atlas, the Titan of Strength, who broke the load-bearing pillar of the universe. So Kratos forced him to hold up the cosmos on his own instead.
And he could do it with just one hand, according to the novelization.
Even his grandpappy Kronos failed to stop him. You know, the guy who overthrew the primordial that punched the universe into existence?
Yeah,
Causing
there's
shockwaves
plenty of
that moved
evidence
over a
for universe.
quadrillion times faster than
You don't
light.
even need to
A
look
frankly
into the-
incomprehensible feat.
The
Then there's
novelization
Daddy
and
Zeus,
lore stuff.
Who proved
Just
a
put two and
serious
two
challenge
together.
until Kratos drew perhaps his ultimate weapon, the Blade of Olympus.
It can make tornadoes, lightning, force fields. Oh, and it can stab the hell out of you. It siphons godly energy and can pull it up to even
Was
kill
able to
Zeus.
summon it after
Like
Mimir
father,
described
like
it to
son.
him.
Even while
As
Kratos
memory of
ultimately
your
released
past made
hope
manifest.
across the Greek world, he could only do so after
Oh, he could summon it in
annihilating
Valhalla.
everything.
Okay, so it counts.
Like a badass, he was unstoppable. Non-stop killing and sex and even more killing. And yet, he couldn't be any more depressed.
His wife and daughter were still gone. What was he to do?
He didn't know. He wandered aimlessly for years, somehow stumbling into Norse mythology where he met Faye, his second wife. Good start, buddy.
Kratos had a new lease on life, but he could not escape his past mistakes.
There's a reason he hid his swords in a dingy basement. Even so, Faye insisted he could do better. So he became a dad to a new boy.
Easily the toughest task he ever undertook, especially after Faye unfortunately died of a mysterious illness.
Damn it, not again! But hey, it wasn't Kratos' fault this time, and Faye left the tools he'd need to keep the boy safe, including the Leviathan axe.
Far from the whirling rage of the Blades of Chaos, the Leviathan axe was deliberate
Let's
and
go.
mighty. said to rival Mjolnir itself.
Thor wishes Mjolnir was as cool as this axe. It's imbued with ice magic and a poison even the gods fear. It can be summoned to Kratos' hand from a distance, and it even shatters souls.
Kratos may have once been a sword of vengeance, but with his new weapons and a new purpose, he stood as a shield against the godly Asir.
Too bad he just can't help but get in trouble with gods. But now he knew how to control his anger.
Which is even more important than it sounds. Kratos' Spartan rage summons an inner strength with magical properties.
He can even get so pissed off that he straight up heals himself. That seems like the opposite of what should happen.
Not all anger
And,
is problematic.
you know, the
and Kratos
expression,
wields
too
plenty of
angry
new
to die.
weapons and relics to channel his rage through.
Like the Dropnir Ring, which can summon a bunch of wind spears. They can absorb all types of energy and blast it back. He even has relics and magic that can warp space and slow down time.
Naturally, he contested with the strongest of the Norse gods, including the god of thunder Thor, who was powerful enough to fight the fire giant Surtur and the world serpent Jormungandr at the same time.
Oh, and that fire giant would be the cause of actual Ragnarok. You can't defeat me, Thor. I know, but he can.
Well, not exactly.
Well, he
Freyr,
couldn't.
the rain god, held off Ragnarok for a considerable time on his own, and the sheer power of Ragnarok shook Yggdrasil down to its very roots.
That's the World Tree, which is like a literal tree that connects the whole universe.
According to Freya, the tree's very existence supports all of creation among its boughs. Every strand transcending time, transcending space. Everything comes back to the tree.
So it's kind of like Kratos lives in a really, really, really big treehouse.
In his quest to free the Norse world, Kratos reclaimed old weapons by reckoning with his past sins, even taking up the Blade of Olympus once again.
Even better, he actually got to be a decent dad. And now the boy is a man and also a bear.
Kratos made a lifetime of mistakes, but this future would be different. He'd be more than he was in the past, not just a god of war, but a leader, a father, and a defender. A god of hope.
Let's fucking go.
Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC.
Damn, that was a lot. Anyway.
Long ago, a demigod fell from the heavens, only to rise from the depths of Naraka after 12,000 years.
After 12,000 years, he's free to punch everything dumb enough to get in his way. He was the demigod of wrath, Asura.
Alongside 7 other demigods,
Put him in Marvel's Capcom, baby.
Defender of humanity against
Bro,
the
put him in
Goma,
Street
dark
Fighter.
spirit
Put him in
monsters
Street Fighter
infesting
6.
the world.
He was reincarnated. He lives in Street Fighter.
Mystic energy.
Go check it out.
Human prayer.
Chosen inheritor of the
Mantra.
universe.
By advancing technology with
I did not
Mantra,
type the read
the
shit.
Guardian Generals became essentially hyper-powerful mystic cyborgs. They could each harness Mantra through a different emotional affinity. For August, it was greed. For Yasha, it was melancholy.
I'll give you one chance to guess what Asura's is.
By tapping into his wrath, Asura can take many forms for battle, like the 6-armed Vajra, a state powerful enough to subdue the embodiment of the planet's will and the source of the Goma, Vlitra.
But he wasn't angry enough to put Goma Vlitra down for good. At least not yet. Of course, since he's literally powered by wrath, no enemy of Asura's would be stupid enough to do something that would make him even more mad, right? Nah. Right?
Funny you should say that.
God damn it.
First off, Asura is not some one-dimensional anger machine. In myth, the Asuras were powerful and aggressive beings, sure, but not inherently evil, just like Asura himself. He's a warrior, but also a husband with a daughter, Mithra,
And Mithra has the unique power to supercharge Mantra energy.
which gave Asura's prideful commander, Deus, an idea. If he could weaponize Mithra, literally wiring her up to a super weapon, the Guardian Generals could maybe finally end Goma Vlitra for good.
Well, obviously Asura wasn't gonna go along with that. So Deus framed Asura for killing the Emperor, murdered his wife, kidnapped Mithra, and then just straight up killed him.
Dick.
What a dick.
But true to his nature, Asura was literally too angry to die. So long as a single part of his body remains and can possess Mantra, he can climb back out of Naraka, a sort of limbo underworld between life and death. Thanks to some
It takes a
cooking
while
from
for him
strange
to
golden spider,
climb back
he
that
did
thing.
just that, with an all-new purpose in mind.
Make the gods pay! Oh yeah,
I mean,
they're
didn't-
calling themselves
I think it
gods
took
now.
him, like,
Turns
500
out they're all
years to-
assholes who started sacrificing
it took
thousands
him,
of
like,
innocent people to try to power
1012
up.
the first
So Asura
time.
got really,
Then
really,
he went back and
really
it was like
pissed off.
Then he got
Through
killed
his
again.
rage, Asura's
I
power
think it took, like,
exploded,
500 more
rising
years.
enough to throw giants like
I think it's something like
ragdolls,
that.
shatter
I
whole
could-
moons, and destroy a fellow
There's a
deity.
manga of
Why
that?
is
Who could dwarf the planet and wreck it with
There's a
just a
manga of
finger?
that thing?
Look at this.
I've never
Asura
seen a
is so
single
powerful,
panel
his
of
soul
that.
cannot be manipulated by the Goma or the deities. He can propel himself with mantra to fly, harden his fist to break
Mantra.
steel, fire
Resurrection.
explosive energy blasts.
And headbutt you so hard you wish you could die even faster. The dude literally stockpiles anger into a burst of energy that can one-shot even the toughest of foes. And when he goes unlimited mode, he can rapid-fire those super attacks without overheating.
Asura's vengeance quest wasn't all shouting and explosions, though. I mean, it was a lot of that, but he also tried to protect
lot.
people from the gods, including a girl who very much reminded him of his own daughter.
Yeah, Asura's the kind of guy who wants to be a great dad, but all he knows how to do is punch anything that upsets his kid. Like that one dad that knocks out a ref at a Little League game.
And then the gods killed that girl too, along with her whole village, sparking Asura to unleash his berserker aura.
You know how the gods were sacrificing thousands of people to power up? Well, Asura got so freaking angry, he built up enough mantra to match them, even though they've been building up energy for thousands of years. Seriously, guys, you're pissing off the guy who literally gets more powerful the angrier he gets. What did you think was gonna happen?
Yet even in berserker mode, Asura never lost total control.
Berserker Asura adds even more extra arms, and they're big and glowy now. The man can launch so much angry mantra he wiped out the god's whole space fleet in seconds.
Asura's anger raised to levels so high even he couldn't contain it, scorching him into his wrath form.
Even though it hurts Asura while he's in it, this form is still perfect for absolutely shit-stomping a snobby demigod's face in. It's okay though, his brother-in-law punched the edge out of him.
Yasha saw the error of the deity's senseless sacrifices and teamed up with Asura for a coup against Deus.
Awesome, they're bros again! Just in time for Asura to hit his former boss with so much mantra that he burst, then dive into the planet's core to obtain power equal to 1,000 arms! His mantra form! Finally, a power capable of killing Vlitra in a big planet-busting blast!
Deus was defeated
How is
and
anyone
Gaia was
alive
saved.
after
Yet,
this?
Asura's wrath hadn't been quelled.
Title drop!
It turns out that spider that guided him was actually Chakravartin, the creator of mantra and the entire universe.
And everyone's suffering was part of his plan to make Asura his heir. Chakra kidnapped Mithra, because of course he did, and tested Asura in the form of a massive golden Buddha statue. Check out the size of it! That thing can literally hold a galaxy in its palm. Naturally, Asura and the statue threw hands.
Enter the mantra reactor. Capable of holding 7 trillion souls, Asura instead used it as a vessel for a far greater power.
His own unfiltered rage. At last, Asura could show the world his real colors.
Everyone from the humans to the 7 deities to Chakravartin saw Asura's anger as a weapon, a sword for tyranny, when that was never who he was. His rage was really a shield to protect humanity, and most of all, his daughter.
A shield larger than a planet! Unbound by his past limits, Asura's
Asura
ultimate
the
destructor form
Destructor!
effortlessly punched through asteroids larger than nebulas, dodged planet-sized lasers moving 2 quadrillion times faster than light, and obliterated whole stars!
Chakravartin was, understandably, impressed and offered Asura a chance to take his place. Asura
Fuck, Aquaman
smiled at
owed
the
him to a
offer
standstill.
and extended his arm.
Right into Chakra's face, as if he was gonna let some god trample over more worlds. Instead, he literally beat the QTEs out of God, obliterating him and his plans in a cosmic explosion.
But with Chakravartin dead, so was the concept of mantra itself. Those who depended on it could not survive, including Asura.
Hey, as long as Mithra was fine, it was worth it. Besides, he'll reincarnate millions of years later, still kicking
Damn.
ass, ready to smack a random thug, a meteor, or Ryu, right in the balls.
It's interesting. Despite the dangers of uncontrolled anger, Asura's wrath gave him the power to save everything. All because of just one thing.
Some bastard made his daughter cry, so they had to pay. Now that's a god I can get behind. This battle is sponsored by Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of bucks in award winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everyone.
Can you shut up?
It's simple.
Okay, I mean, I'm still staying on my position. It seems like Asura has I would say a lot of resistance to like some hacks that Kratos can throw at him, like affecting souls, like petrification. I think he can come back from that. I'm not sure about the whole resurrection thing, but yeah, okay, Kratos can rival Thor, who can rival with basically Ragnarok, and who can shake like the tree
Instantly
of
after you play your
multiverse.
first $5 lineup.
So
Yep, if you download the app.
that makes sense. So multiple universes versus one universe. I'm staying with Kratos.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
Fortnite.
It's time
For a death battle! Sorry, technical difficulties. Oh, I'm excited. Apparently, Devil Artemis spent a lot of time on this. It's 6 minutes long. 6 minutes long. Kratos, the god of war. Okay, gets teleported there, I guess. That was fast.
It's true then. The god of war is on Gaia. But not for long. You do not want this fight.
Mithra's just standing there. Alright, fight! Run, Mithra! Berserker mode. Oh, I love this shot! First! I need to pick that up. Six Storm Asura! Whatever. That had to hurt.
You let your wrath consume you. I have been down that road before. Shut up!
Shut up!
Very well.
Spear! Okay, big form. Lots of few views. Okay. That was quick. Perfect. You made her cry! You made her cry! A little bit! Now you die! Come on! Come on, come on, come on! There we go!
But you deserve a worthy end!
Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! This is epic! The Blade of Olympus! Ah!
You are a monster no longer. I never was.
Oh, the parallel. The parallel. He caused all this.
KO! Well, I guess Asura's wrath really is gone. But are we sure this is how it'd go? Even though Asura can blow up stars?
Asura had some amazing displays of apocalyptic destruction, but the full scope of their speed, experience, versatility, and power sheds a surprising light.
At first glance, speed seems like a shoo-in for Asura. Kratos is quick, but he never dodged a universe-crossing laser.
That doesn't mean he couldn't. Remember, as usual, we look at these characters at their peak, free from gameplay restrictions.
Yeah, we're looking at everything in canon, and Kratos fought
Yeah,
and
it's the
killed
whole
Helios,
lore
the
gameplay
sun
thing.
god.
From the moment he's introduced, Helios is emphasized to be immensely powerful. Without Helios, darkness would shroud everything. His light was fast enough to illuminate the entire underworld while Kratos sailed through it, taking a few hours at most.
So, kinda hard to quantify, but that's consistent with the shockwaves the primordials caused that spawned the universe.
Arguments could be made for which is faster, the primordial shockwaves or Chakravartin's
Surviving outer
intergalactic
space
lasers.
shows that
Since it's so
was
close,
very-
it's safest to assume their speeds are generally even.
But what does speed
enough.
matter if you don't know how to use it? Let's cover experience.
Yeah,
Asura
Kratos.
lived across centuries, obviously a lot longer than Kratos.
Actually,
And while Kratos eventually learned to control his
That is
rage,
true.
Asura pretty much always had that control.
So Asura easily takes experience.
Okay, never mind.
But when it comes to
No, I'm done.
versatility, he couldn't match
Yeah,
all
he's
the
found-
weapons and abilities Kratos
But
had.
versus-
Sure, Asura is quite skilled and a monster at martial arts, but his fighting style mostly relies on one thing.
A whole lot of punching.
Kratos' weapons, magic, runes, relics, and even his rage gave him far more options in combat, slowing down time, healing injuries, and most importantly, multiple weapons that could drain a variety of energies, like mantra.
Yeah, when Asura loses all his mantra energy, that's it for him. So the Dropnir spears and the Blade of Olympus gave Kratos exactly what he needed. Versatility, and multiple ways to finish this for good before Asura just comes crawling back out of the underworld.
If he could, Asura's resurrections take years or whole
Yeah,
centuries,
no, that's what I was
days at
saying.
best.
I don't
But all
really.
this assumes Kratos could match Asura's crazy strength. All roads lead to power, which should go to Asura, right? Look at what he can do! If this came down to who made the bigger kaboom, he'd kick Kratos' ass in 2 seconds.
But a closer examination of their feats reveals the truth.
At his peak, Asura overpowered Chakravartin, annihilating that cosmic golden god.
By measuring the dimensions of Chakravartin's body and scaling it up to match the size of this galaxy-eclipsing statue, we can determine its volume. Add in the density of gold, for good measure assuming the form is solid throughout, and its mass far exceeds not just our galaxy, but our entire observable universe.
Destroying that big golden god would need energy on par with obliterating our universe 91,000 times.
Extremely impressive and unfathomable. However, the same idea applies to Ragnarok shaking the roots of Yggdrasil.
Ragnarok is obviously a bit of a different beast than Kratos, but what really matters is what Freyr did.
Right, Freyr, a god comparable to Kratos, held back Ragnarok's power for a significant time.
So Kratos should be capable of the same level of power, or even more.
Using an official map and knowing the world tree's branches encompass all of existence, we can measure its size and volume.
And we know this map is accurate because it shows these two realms conjoined, which we see in-game.
Even if we assume the Tree of the Realms is only 1% solid, a significant lowball that Kratos should easily scale above, shaking such an incomprehensibly large structure would require enough force to destroy our universe's mass energy 9 million times over.
That's almost 100 times greater than Chakravartin's destruction. And this
Only
isn't some
100?
one-off outlier. I mean, a realm-shattering supergiant doesn't sound too different from the other Titans and Olympians Kratos defeated.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's easy to think that we never see Kratos do anything that matches Asura, but we do. Helios' speed matches Chakravartin, and Kratos outsped him. Atlas is strong enough to lift all of reality, and Kratos overpowered him. Kronos defeated the creator of the universe in a one-on-one fight, same as Asura, and Kratos killed Kronos. Add in the clear numerical comparison of Chakravartin, Ragnarok, and Yggdrasil, and Kratos takes the edge in power.
Only
But hey,
100
Capcom,
times?
if you give us Asura's Wrath 2, we'll try this again.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Asura's The Sun Rises. The god of wrath was Kratos.
The winner is Kratos.
But what if?
Oh! Devil Artemis! You sexy devil! You awesome devil! That's how you cook! Ah! Yes! Ah! Give us stats! Ah! Ooh! There we go. Aw, Calliope.
And that concludes my pitch for Asura's Wrath 2. The end. Next time on Death Battle.
Before we go to the next time on Death Battle. Devil Artemis. Respect. Respect for this. This was... I mean, I wasn't even intending to have my hands like this, but... cinema. 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 Oh my god! That was pure. I could say the beginning of the fight is slightly janky, not the very start, but when they start brawling. But it gets it rises up in quality 10 times fold. The QTE again. Not enough QTE. I feel like you could have shoved a couple more. You could have shoved a couple more here and there. That would have been way more appreciated, I think, for sometimes, for some moments. But just not even much. Just a couple here and there, and that would have been great. That would have been awesome, but oh my god, these effects and this is very cinematic as a fight. I don't want to say I'm disappointed, because I want to say I'm disappointed that we didn't see them just throwing stars at each other and whatnot, or bouncing from Kratos being punched from planet to planet. But we do have some cosmic fights. We do have some intense cosmic fights, and they are incredible. The reference to the fight against Wyzen is 10 out of 10. I think this is what everybody has been. See, this is what I was talking about the QTE. You could have added a few here and there, but you could have, but this was perfectly represented. This is what everyone was this is what everyone was expecting. This is what everyone was wanting, and God, does it deliver! I love the scale that Asura takes in this. I'm also glad they didn't mix up too much of the Greek weapons with the Norse Kratos. You know, I didn't want Norse Kratos to pull up pull up like the Herculean the Nemerian fist. That's what they're called, or something like that. You know, or the claws of Hades. No, they stayed like faithful to like the axe, the shield, blade of chaos, and the blade of Olympus, which apparently does come back in Valhalla, which I didn't know, or I didn't pay enough attention to the DLC. Oh yeah, there's this little shot of Mithra crying. That made me, this face of Mithra crying is a little like shedding a tear. Is a little silly, not gonna lie. It's a little too comical for. I know what they tried to. I know what Devil Artemis was trying to do, but it was what he tried to portray. But I don't know. Maybe it's the jaw. Maybe it's the jaw that makes her face a little too. I don't know. It's a bit too memey for me. But oh my god, this is full of. This is beautiful to watch. Despite like some minor cherry picking that I can do. The fact that he gets just teleported there, or the fact that Mithra's just standing there. Also a very beautiful death, I think. And a very thorough analysis as well. A very thorough conclusion, I think. That's pretty much what we all expected was going to happen, is that they pulled the old, they pulled the old, you know, Kratos is stronger than you think. That's what made this waiting period kind of aggravating as the Death Battle fan, is that everyone in the community knew that already. But I feel like this is a good lesson for if you're more casual, if you consume media a bit more casually. And props to Devil Artemis for animating a full-fledged extra cutscene, even though like Kratos doesn't pull up that much of a fight, but holy crap, the fact that Devil Artemis like just went out of his way to reference the Chakravartin punch with the QTE like this, it is props, man. Props. Lots of people after Bowser vs. Eggman, I know a lot of people talk about these alternate ending and like these alternate scenarios and whatnot, but I think it's better to never take them for granted anyway, because when they happen, it's like, it is just phenomenal. It is so, like, I appreciate it so much. It's just like, it's all the more to savor, you know? And that they pay tribute to Kratos, even in his alternate ending, like, oh, this is beautiful. Anyway, I don't have much else to say, so let's just move on to next time on Death Battle.
To the end. Next time on Death Battle.
Yes! Ghost Rider, I think. Versus Spawn!
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
You know, I would have been much more excited if none of y'all fucking spoiled it to me. Huh? With your fucking MacFest revelation, you can go to MacFest. I'm stuck in France, bitch! I'm trying to make, like, fun reaction and be excited for an incredibly popular matchup, and y'all just make my job very hard. Ghost Rider versus Spawn! From one guy that needed to return to another, we got the Kratos vs. Spawn. This is hype. This is immensely hype. This is the matchup that should have happened instead of Ghost Rider versus Lobo. Even though I have nothing against Ghost Rider Lobo, I think it was a very peak fight. And it was a very fun fight in itself. But like, there we go. This is the devil fight we needed with chains and hellfire and hell magic and demons and from punching gods to devils. Even though Spawn punched God. Fuck you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this reaction. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of this death battle in the comments. If you want to watch more reactions to future episodes of Death Battle, I highly recommend you subscribe. I also throw live streams where I draw my these cute little fan arts that I use for the thumbnails of my videos. You can also do all of the YouTube things that they say at the end. You know, like, subscribe, hit the bell, share this video to your friends, your families, your foes. Of course, again, I'm gonna recommend that you watch the original. The original video link should be in the description. The original Death Battle. I'm gonna wish you a happy 2025, and that was Torok at your service, and I'll see you later.